What's going on, everybody? Gonna take a look here at the Russia ETF, RSX. This thing has been tanking with all that's going on in the world. No wonder why this has been tanking to the downside. Looks like we hit a high up in here around the $33 range, and we are trading, looks like as of yesterday, $7.19 was the close. So the reality is, if you're holding this RSX, this Russia ETF, you should be in two scenarios. You should either be flat with no position, or you should have been short from up in this range, this $29 to $30 range. You would be short, and you would be sitting very well, as this thing is down a huge amount. So the question is, when will this bottom? Is it a good buy? Well, it depends on how you look at it. So let's take a quick zoom back, and then we'll come back to present times. So if you look at this was that March decline that we saw across the markets, which also went from the $26 to the $13 range. So it depends how you look at it. I mean, if you were looking at it from up in here when it was trading at 20 and you thought that was the bottom, well, it went much further. What about if you thought the bottom was at 17 or at 15 or at 14? Well, it didn't bottom out until around the low 13s. So it depends on how you look at it. If you're okay with knowing that it could drop many multiples lower, well, then I think you have your answer on if it's a good buy or not. But if you're buying up in here at 22 or at 20 thinking that's the bottom, here's another question. Would you have held all the way down to 13? Or would you have had enough and thrown in the towel only to watch it rally all the way back up? So that is the problem with trying to buy the dip and find the bottom. We kind of look for something different. We look for strength to come in. So we have a rally all the way back up to 17, and then we pull back to 15. And what did that do? That was a higher low. We look for scenarios like that to play out, scenarios like it to get back up and create that higher high, which it did right in here at that 19, that $17 range. We look for that new confirmation of a uptrend to be taking place. And that keeps us out of trouble with trying to buy the dips, buy the lows. When we see that confirmation of a new uptrend, so this is it's a lower high, but then we get that pullback, that higher low. You might think, well, why buy it at 15 or 17 or even 19 when you could have bought it down at 13? The thing is, if 13 wasn't the low, maybe 10 was, or 7. When we buy the strength up in the $17 range, it's going higher. So it's still a good buy in our opinion, of course. So let's take a look over here. Well, we're sitting at $7. Is this the bottom? Well, we don't know. So far, as of yesterday, it is. Who knows what happens today? You could have been saying that when it was at 14 or when it was at 10 or even when it was up here at 18. And if you were trying to buy those dips, well, look where you're at now. Are you still holding? Are you ready to throw the towel in? That I do not know. We do not have a position in this. So with price gaps, which there's a ton of them, looks like there's one here at 10, 13, 18, and 22. These gaps will get filled at some point down the road, assuming they just don't close these markets, and that's the end of it. Assuming this product will continue to trade in the future, these markets, these gaps will get filled. And you can look at that right back in here, once again in 2020. Price gap up here, 24, 22, 22, another big gap down here in the 19s. It took some time, but those gaps got filled on this next rally up in here. So at some point, we believe these price gaps will get filled on RSX, this Russia ETF. But like I said, for us, of course, not financial advice, we would like to see a swing higher followed by a higher low and then a boom, a higher high, confirming that new uptrend and looking for an entry around that area. So, and that keeps us out of trouble because we don't know how much further this thing can buy. So why try to step in front of a falling knife when this thing could be trading at $2? Who knows how low it'll go? So that is our thoughts on this RSX, this Russia ETF. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts, and let's watch this thing and see what happens here as all of these unfortunate events unfold around the world here. This is just simply some TA looking at another market, and let's see what happens here. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. Welcome to the channel if you are new. Thank you for all of the current subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.